every single time. I get one up here too. They love to alert us. All right, guys, we should be live. Everybody should get the alerts on their phones any minute now.
I just got mine.
Chirp, chirp, chirp,
There you
chirp, chirp.
go. Chirp it away. We're live. Okay. Chirpity chirp, chirp, chirp. Okay. I'm going to push. I'm recording on the audio. Okay. You guys ready? Hold on. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
You wanna know how to find it. Seek it out when they hide it. You know it's in the bag when it's an easy grab. Come on, take a chance now. So go, geocache, geocache. And if you need help, we're right there in a flash. If you got a question, just call in and ask. Uncover the stash on the Geocaching Podcast. The Geocaching Podcast.
Welcome, everyone. It is Wednesday. It is 8:30, which means that it is once again time for the Geocaching Podcast. My name is Scott Burks. We got Shorty Knits manning the phones. And please welcome to my virtual left, my co-host in crime, Jazz427.
Howdy, y'all. Don't make me turn this car around.
That's right, guys, because tonight's episode is episode 569, recorded live on June 26th, 2019. And it is the best and worst geocaching road trip stories. Guys, phone lines are open, so give us a call, 808-468-7924. That is 808-GOT-SWAG. But first, Chad,
Mm-hmm.
you know the business we have to attend to first.
Oh, yeah.
The business we always have to attend to first, Patreon. Guys, it costs a lot of money to make this podcast work. We really can use your help. We have over 50 current subscribers who love everything that we have on the other side, all the audio, all the video, all the extra goodies that you get. I actually accidentally pushed a goodie live, Chad. Did you notice it? Did you? Are you a current subscriber to the YouTube channel, Chad?
I'm not. Yes, I am. The emails go into a filter.
I accidentally, one of the videos that was for patrons only, it was only a snippet. It was like a minute and a half video of us finding a cache. I actually did it public instead of unlisted, so it actually went live to anyone who is a subscriber. You can't see it if you're not a subscriber. You have to be a subscriber to our show. Even if you're not a patron, you still accidentally got that. I fixed it, so now it's
Okay.
open. But yeah, so that was a little accident on me. Happens.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? I can't help it.
All those YouTube emails get filtered into the social
Do they?
media stuff, and I usually just once a day click select all, hit delete.
Oh, thanks.
It's
I
like,
appreciate that very much. Thank you for your support.
well, it's just there's just too much stuff to filter through.
So, three thanks to our subscribers and to our new subscriber, Chad. We have a new subscriber who is a gold star patron. We love
Awesome.
a little bit more. That is Pole04 out of Arlington, Texas. Chad, you lived in Texas forever.
Uh-huh.
Did you know Pole04?
I do not know Pole 04, but that is a great name, especially with all the caches that came out in the DFW area in general recently that are high DTs, and a pull can make it just that much easier to access them.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So, thank you, Pole04, for becoming a Gold Star patron from Arlington, Texas. Hope you enjoy the other side. Hope you enjoy all the goodies and all the video and all the audio that's over there. And guys, for everybody else, give anything you can. We'd love to have you join the inner circle. Join that inner circle at patreon.com, patreon.com/the Geocaching Podcast.
Okay, so I know we're going to talk about Cashly, but I wanted to say one more thing about our Ask Pole 04 question. Where did that name come from? So email us about that.
Oh, you want to email us, huh?
Yeah. So
Or, here's the thing, Chad. I know we have
call in.
That's right. We what I want
if
to
you're
say,
listening,
guys, is that call in tonight if you happen to listen to the show, 808-468-7924. But even if we are not live, guys, you can still call the number and leave us a voicemail. It goes voicemail, and we have a voicemail tonight from firefighter Skippy. So like you can call us even when we're not on the air. We'd love it when you could call us who was on the air. It'd be fantastic to call us and hey, let's talk. But yeah, let's Polo 4. Where'd you get your name from? Chad wants to know. 808-468-7924. There you go, Chad.
All right, tonight's show is brought to you by Cachly. Cachly is an advanced geocaching app for iOS. It features powerful online and offline features, including filtered searches, offline maps, and offline saving of caches. Cachly has hundreds of advanced features that will make your geocaching experience just that much better. Get more information at cachly.com. That's CACHLY.com.
Tonight, we're also sponsored by Logwork. Logworks are the creators of the fantastic logbook, made with genuine write-in-the-rain paper. The logbook's designed for the micro-containers of the present and future, geared towards the hider who would rather go caching than do cache maintenance. Find them at logwork.com, LOGWERK.com.
It's also brought to you by FTF Geocacher Magazine. FTF Geocacher is the magazine for geocachers written by geocachers. With 6 issues a year, FTF offers practical advice, instant tips, cacher bios and milestones, geocaching events, trail tales, and all things geo-related. Find them at ftfgeocacher.com. That's ftfgeocacher.com.
And by the Max Huts Body Company. Max Huts Body Company makes handmade bath and body products from all natural oils and butters. Items such as Poison Bee Gone soap, itch spray, and 2-cent choices of bug spray are all great for outdoor enthusiasts like geocachers. At Max Huts Body, we have you covered from head to toe. Find them at maxhudsbody.com. That's MACSUDSBODY.com.
And finally, by Practical Geocaching. Practical Geocaching sells utility items for geocaching. Stop typing in there. So we got Google Docs up and stuff is. I'm gonna restart this, and the prompt popped up in front of my words. So I'm starting over. And finally, by Practical Geocaching. Practical Geocaching sells utility items for geocaching. Our items are made in the USA, and we always provide free shipping. Find them at practicalgeocaching.com. That's PRACTICAL geocaching.com.
And as always, you can find links to all our sponsors in our show notes. So, Chad.
Mm-hmm.
So you heard that Hangouts on Air is going away, right?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's going away in October, and I think guys, I think I found a way to make all this still work. Geocache Talk has already figured out a way. I think we're gonna use the same kind of model that they're using, but I got to do the research, obviously. But of course, it's middle of baseball season, so it's almost over. A couple more weeks and baseball is over. Then I can really go full force into fixing this. And no, I'm not worried because Hangouts is going to be around, I think, till October or mid-October, so I'm not too worried about it. But hopefully we can get taken care of beforehand. But baseball is almost over, Chad. Tonight I want to tell you really quickly. It was an interesting night tonight because Jesse and I have 3 kids between us. We have a 14-year-old, we have a 12-year-old, and we have an 8-year-old. And they all play different leagues. They're different ages. So, but Cam, the middle one, actually played up tonight, and he played with Toby. So my oldest and our middle played baseball against each other.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty fantastic to watch.
Who won?
Cam's team won because of lightning. So get this. So Cam's team was up by 1, right? It's the bottom of
Top of 7.
Tie game. No, it was a tie game. Bottom of 7, tie game.
Well, Toby's team came back to tie it in the top of the 7th.
Right.
So they're going into the bottom of the 7th tie game.
Which is the last inning, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Toby gets put in the pitch. Cam is batting second. Okay, so Cam was going to bat against Toby. And they called the game because of lightning.
Oh.
So, yeah. I got a nice picture up on social media, if anybody follows me on social media, of Cam batting and Toby catching, and both of them together in the same shot. Both of them, it's probably the only time they'll ever play together, ever, So it was a nice little moment. It was nice. It was a great game because, we were really rooting for both teams, obviously, So it was a nice little thing, So we got a voicemail tonight. Before we get started, guys, tonight the show is geocaching road trip stories. Guys, I have a ton. Jesse has a ton. Chad has a ton. I don't want to hear ours. I want to hear yours. Give us a call, 808-468-7924. 808-GOT-SWAG. Give us a call. I want to hear your best and or worst geocaching story, your road trip story. Come on, everybody's got road trip stories. Let's hear yours. So we got a voicemail here from FF Skippy. This was actually from a couple weeks ago, but we had a repeat on and all that. So here it is. This is from FF Skippy about an FTF. It's kind of interesting. So unfortunately, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to preface it with it cuts off. But the best part is it cuts off before I think he spoils it. So I think it's actually expecting when it got cut off. Listen to this here. Hold on, I'll play it here.
Hey, this is firefighter Skippy calling from Connecticut. I just did the most awesome gadget cache today. I was first to find on it with a geocaching buddy. It's up in Massachusetts, Webster, Massachusetts. The cache name was called Phone Booth, and the code is GC87WW6. The cache was created by Cache Dweeb, who just a couple of months ago, his Donkey Kong cache was made a cache of the week. And this one is most excellent. You get there, and it's a telephone booth.
And that's it. That's where it cuts off. Is that fantastic?
That's awesome.
That's where it cuts off. So I'm assuming, I don't know why it cut off. It shouldn't cut off, but that's as funny as that. Like, I think he was going to spoil it. So FF Skippy, that's all I got. I'm sorry. But hey, thanks for so much for calling in and giving props to the cash owner. Jess, you okay over there?
Yeah, I totally locked up. So sorry about that.
You locked up? You're kidding, really?
I'm good.
Okay. So
it's an old style phone booth that you with the old glass doors that you push in and
is it
aluminum frame? Yeah,
nice. Well, FF Skippy, your friend of the show, FF Skippy, actually FTF did. I got an email too, Chad. We got an email here. We got an email from who we got here? GSM times 2. Here we go. You ready for this? He's making a case for the. Remember how we talked about FTF logs and delaying the FTF logs? Talking it is what we call it here in Chicago. Not signing a log or not logging the FTF online.
right.
So here you go. Here we go. I recognize that this ship has sailed and there is no turning back. But in the early days of geocaching, before cell phone caching and the ability to instantly log FTFs, the understanding in our community was that no one would log an FTF for 12 to 48 hours after the person signed the log. Second, third, fourth to finds would delay logging the cache until the FTF logged his or her first find. That's correct. They did that here too. That was in Chicago as well.
Mm-hmm.
The concept likely sounds crazy to the log your FTF crowd, but it actually made pursuing FTFs more fun. The first to find could relish in the joy of knowing that some would feel the thrill of going after the FTF, only to realize the agony of defeat to find out they were not the first. The cache owner was pretty much ensured that 2 to 4 people would go after the cache the first day it published and could get quick feedback on bad coordinates or feedback on the difficulty and terrain ratings. For me, there are 2 lists, first to find and yeah, whatever. In the old days, a geocache would stay on the FTF list for up to 2 days. Today, it can go to the yeah, whatever list in less than an hour after the geocache published. Again, true. This ship has sailed. There's no going back, but I do miss this aspect of the game. Good show. Thanks for sharing your opinions. GSM times 2.
Well, that was the whenever list, not whatever list. But I guess there was a point in time when also people count. I have also heard about people counting when it was first logged, not necessarily signed. In some communities, they counted that as FTF when it was first logged as well, which I always thought was kind of bizarre. It's like, no, it's when you first sign it.
Yes. Well, what's funny is back in like 2009, even 2010, I'd say, I could literally, so say there was a cache 8 miles away from where I lived. I could literally eat dinner, relax a little bit, and then go out and still get the FTF. In this day and age, if I don't immediately get up from my chair and go for it, I'm not going to get the FTF. It's not going to happen. It's rare. Jesse, do you agree with me on that?
Totally agree.
Yeah, it's rare. So, again, I do miss the old days, but again, this was this is pre-app days. I'm talking before even the geocaching app came out,
Right.
So yeah, those days are gone. They are definitely long gone. And I miss those days strictly because like that was when I was a new cacher and you had that fresh new, this is an amazing amazing game. It still is an amazing game. I shouldn't say that, but it was a fresh game. You know, it was still fresh.
Mm.
It was still new. It was still, hey, you know, this is what is this? You know, nobody knows about it, kind of a thing, kind of game. I miss that. I miss being, you know, a newbie. I guess as weird as that sounds. I got another email. This is from great handle. This is called Baseball Freak, which is a great freaking caching name. It says, new listener to the podcast. Hey, thanks, buddy. Long time occasional cacher. My cache handle is Baseball Freak. I've been geocaching since 2015, and I have over 2,000 finds, so he's not a newbie. I just found your podcast, and I absolutely love the show. Hearing all of you talk has gotten me excited to start geocaching again. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Here's my question. Is there a podcast already talking about planning a trip? If you are all taking a trip out of town, what does I look how he goes straight to Jesse on this? What does Jesse go through to plan for the trip? I want to start doing geo art in my area, and I would like to use that as a practice to run a trip out of town. I just don't want to go out there cold and eliminate learning the hard way as much as I can. So I'm going to move to Jesse Brown, who's the expert on this, the legit expert on this, the show expert on planning trips to go geocaching. Jesse, what are your tips?
So here's my condensed version of how I plan trips. The first thing I do is look in the area that I'm going or along the route that we're going, and I look for favorites in the area, rare cache types, meaning virtuals, webcams, oldies, etc. I'll look for ones that have high DTs, and I'll try to find caches that work towards or will help fulfill a challenge. I used to always use pocket queries, but now I very rarely run pocket queries or caches along a route, and I mostly rely on Project GC to find those target caches. But also, I just plain old look at the map of the area that we're going. If we're going, you know, like here in Illinois, we have a lot of open space where there aren't a whole lot of caches, so it doesn't take that long to just kind of browse through the map and click on some caches and figure out, you know, what's there, what are our options, and that was basically how I planned our Southern Illinois trip when we went for counties and DeLorme pages. So, and then the other thing I do is solve as many puzzles ahead of time if possible. And then to actually plan out my route, once I have the caches picked out, I use a combination of Google Maps, cachetour.no, furcoat.com for those longer complex trips, the combination of the three. So that is my trip planning in a nutshell.
Okay. And obviously, hey, and Baseball Freak, if you want, you can go to our show notes located on our website, and you could see, you know, the cachetour.no and furcot.com and all that stuff, just spelling and all that. So our notes are in there. Chad, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I think she did a good job of doing it. You know, I do like to solve geoarts ahead of time, and then I tend to do my route planning of the geoarts separately, especially if they're large geoarts, and that way I can make sure that I get all of that geoart in one swoop. Because if you start doing route planning and you don't quite make it all the way through your route, and you got part of the geoart done and part of it not done, sometimes that can be a bummer.
Sure. All right, well, there you go, Baseball Freak. Hope she helps you a little bit in answering that question. Moving along, guys. Again, the topic tonight, best and worst geocaching stories. You got one, let's hear about it. 808-468-7924. 808-GOT-SWAG. Give us a call, let's hear about it. But I've got an email here, if I can find it. Where is it? Here we go. I got an email about road trip stories here. I've got one that says, greetings from Southland, New Zealand. I've just started listening to your podcasts and loving them. Recommended them to geocaching friends now. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. A number of years ago, we were on a geocaching road trip with a friend and was trundling along a gravel dirt road and came to a Ford crossing across a river. I'm assuming that's a Ford truck or a Ford car. We had a discussion about returning 30 minutes to get around, but he said nope, he will be fine. Got 3/4 across and bogged down. Water coming up to the sill of the car. Had to wait just over an hour for help to arrive to pull us out. Oh my! So they basically got stuck in the river. Is that what they're saying? From understanding this?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Lesson learned: trust your intuition and not your geo buddy. Years later, he almost rolled his own vehicle by parking on a soft edge of dirt road. Oh no. Maths had to be applied, and 2 other vehicles used to pull him back to safety without rolling down the bank. Good stories and laugh to be had. Regards, Penny, who is Mr. and Mrs. Chosen 1978. Now that is a caching name. Mr. and Mrs. Chosen 1978. From
Awesome.
Southland, New Zealand. Thank you so much, Penny.
I think that was a fjord crossing.
A fjord?
That they left out the J.
Oh, so
It's a fjording, which is a crossing. It's a. Don't worry about it.
What is it? I'm curious what it is. What is that?
It's basically a shallow river crossing or shallow creek crossing.
It's called a fjord. It's called a
ford or fjord.
Is that called a fjord in America too, or is it like a?
I think the term is Norwegian, I believe.
Really?
So
you're much more worldly schooled than I am, Chad. Good job. Thank you so much, Petty, for your email. We deeply appreciate it. So, Chad, let's get this started, guy. You're gonna get it started. Hopefully, we get some calls here. 808 got swag to road trip stories. Chad, give me your best. You got a best or your worst here? Give me one.
Let's go for worst. Started off good here.
There you go. All right, give me your worst story.
So, I haven't really had many really, really bad ones, but probably the worst was trying to pick up 10 counties in the day while traveling to my mother-in-law's house. When you're starting out going to your mother-in-law's house in the first place, which nobody in the car was even looking forward to,
right.
Including your non-caching spouse.
Right.
Then you decided to make it fun by trying to pick up a bunch of counties when your wife and son don't give a rat's behind about it, including one in particular that had to go down a 7-mile road that was a very, very bad, chunky dirt road. Google Street Maps didn't show it, so I wasn't sure how bad it was. But I was getting the evil eye and, people getting bounced around and everything. Right. But in the end, I managed to get all the counties, and my wife and son were not happy with me, and I was in the doghouse the rest of the trip.
Oh, nice. That's your worst story you got? That's pretty tame, man.
I mean, I've had the stuck in a ditch. I've had the flat tire. I've had I've got another pretty memorable one that was worse for like it's worse that I'll get in a bit.
You had the fake getting arrested.
Yeah, that was fun.
I know, I'm teasing.
What about you, Jesse? What are you going to pick out there? What do you got a road trip? I mean, try to one we haven't mentioned on the show before, if you can. One people have never heard before, and that's difficult because I've told so many of my road trip stories over the years.
I know
on this podcast and online, so it's very difficult too. I racked my brain to try and find ones I don't think I've ever talked about.
I know, and I did the same thing too. As far as the worst, I would have to say it was like half geocaching, half family vacation, and vacation is in quotes. And that was when we drove to Florida with all 3 boys for spring break. So
3 years ago.
That was 3 years ago for spring break. So we rented a van, we loaded all the kids up, and we drove down to Florida. It took us 2 days to get there. Yes. Stayed there for like 4 or 5 days, 2 days to come back. So on the way down, we realized about 30 miles too late that we had passed one of the webcams that I had flagged. So that was a big duh.
She actually wanted to go back too. She's like, "Can we go back?"
I totally wanted to go back.
We're not going back. No.
What's
it's like we're coming by this on the way back.
No, we went home a different way so we could pick up extra states.
No, we went
okay.
South Carolina way.
And we were going to go back that way so that we could get a webcam in South Carolina.
Right.
Well, what happened was the road home was 1,000 times worse than the road getting there. Coming home, we went up a different way. We actually were able to stop at Space Coast Geostore in Florida. I don't think they're still in that
No, they're not there
location.
anymore. No.
So we got to stop there, which was awesome. That was really cool.
Yeah.
And then we were going to stop in South Carolina at the webcam. I can't remember what town it's in. It's like at a restaurant.
No, it was at the what's Chad? What's the
It's a tourist town in South Carolina.
The island.
The
Okay.
island.
Chat room, help me here. Yeah, the island.
Anyway.
The only thing I can think of is Myrtle Beach, but there's no
That's it,
island there.
Myrtle Beach. Myrtle
No.
Beach. That's it.
There's no island there
I
though.
thought that was now.
No, it's not an
Myrtle-
island. Like you drive out along.
Yeah, it's Myrtle Beach.
You have to drive out to it. Anyway,
It's
there was
a peninsula there.
yeah,
Right.
right. So there's a webcam there at a restaurant, and our plan was to stop there for dinner.
Yes.
Well, it took us like twice as long to get out of Florida because of this freak torrential downpour
Oh,
storm
no.
that came
No.
through.
It was the hurricane.
Oh, that's right.
One of the hurricanes.
And one of the hurricanes. Right. So we were Hilton Head. Yes, that's it. Thank you. We were way behind schedule.
She's talking to the chat room.
The
guys.
chat room. Yes. And so we had to skip that webcam. It was terrible. And then, so we kept on going. We're way behind schedule.
Yeah.
We stopped at a few other webcams and virtuals, like in the middle of the night with the kids sleeping in the car. And we finally are like, okay, we have to stop. We're exhausted. We have to stop. We got to find a hotel room. So I start, trying to find us a hotel room. There is not a single hotel room available for 100-mile radius.
In South Carolina. There's not
I mean, nothing. There was some huge like college sporting event. I don't know what it was.
So
and
I had been driving for like 15 hours and like it was like 3 a.m. I was just pissed is what I was.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Pissed.
So we finally get a hotel room, like the only one available. It
Oh,
has one bed and a pull-out couch.
Yeah, we
and
had to go to North. Sorry, go ahead.
it was 3:00 in the morning. Neither Scott nor I had slept at all. 3:00 in the morning. We get there. Scott and I are on the bed. I pull out the couch. I put all 3 boys on the couch. I'm like, just sleep for, as long as you can. Of course, the boys are wide awake and ready to go at 6 a.m.
Right.
It was awful. It was terrible.
It was. We actually had to drive to North Carolina, I think, didn't we, to get a room? We couldn't even find one in South Carolina. We had to drive
Yeah. I don't remember where we ended up
we woke
stopping.
up in North Carolina because we were
Tennessee. We were in the mountains.
we were in the mountains. Yeah.
Oh, Hilton Head's just on the other, just north of Savannah, or actually northeast of Savannah.
Yeah. It was.
So-
It was an interesting trip back. The trip back was way worse than the trip there.
So you had to drive up a good ways to get to North Carolina.
Hmm
Maybe it wasn't North Carolina. Was it Tennessee?
No, it had to have been South Carolina.
no.
is where we-
we drove through.
Oh, where we stopped for the hotel.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that might have
Wow.
been Tennessee.
It was one of the hurricanes. It was in 2016. Figure March or April 2016. I think
Would have been spring break, which is what, April.
March or April. Yeah. So
Yeah.
whatever hurricane was then in 2016 on that East Coast, that's what we drove through. It was
Mhm.
not fun, man. It was cars going 10 miles an hour on the expressway, and we're trying to
Mm.
get home.
Yep. So that would be my worst road trip.
that was a long way home. Yes, that was an interesting one. Yeah, that was I remember that one very well. Guys, let's hear yours. 808-468-7924. I'm gonna come up. I'm gonna bring up. I gotta get to my list. Sorry, guys. Mine I'm going to bring up is. Where's my list? There we go. I'm going to bring up my. What did I say? Okay, I'm gonna bring up. We kind of brought this up. I'm not sure if we told this whole story, Jess. So I'm gonna tell it again. Recently, we went down south to pick up. I mean, I know we talked about this on Patreon. I don't know if we ever talked about this publicly, Jess, is what I'm saying.
Go ahead.
Patreon, we tell this whole story because we have video of we have video of this whole journey that we did. So we went down south to finish off the Delorme and the counties. When was this, Jess? Do you remember when this was?
It was Thanksgiving of this last year.
Yes, that's what it was. Thank you. Thanksgiving. So Jesse and I are down there, and it's always warmer down south, so it was kind of nice. and we I think we're down there for 3 days, 2 nights and 3 days, just if I remember correctly.
Sounds right.
So it's
No,
the-
it would have been 4. It was a 4-day weekend.
so we're on our last night there. We're on night 3, and we're about 3.5 hours. 4.
No, I was thinking we were more like 5.
Were we 5? I can't remember.
4 to 5.
It was okay, far enough that we were going to spend the night.
And we had a few target caches to hit
The
next day that were virtuals that we really could only do during the day.
Right. So we wanted to wait and do them in the morning on the way home. So we stopped at the little town that we were at, checked in our hotel room, went and got some dinner, and we're sitting at dinner, and we look at the news on the TV because like they got a TV on in the restaurant, and it's telling about this huge snowstorm on its way to Chicago. Like now, no, in like 8 hours, it's heading to Chicago. Okay, and mind you, the next day is already Monday after Thanksgiving.
No, Sunday.
Sunday after Thanksgiving, so it's already the busiest. It's the busiest driving day of the. It's one of the busiest travel days of the year because people are heading back home after the Thanksgiving weekend. So we know there's already going to be traffic. Now you're putting on top of that a ton of snow. Okay. So me and Jesse look at each other and we go, what are we going to do? I'd already been driving for 12 hours, Chad. Okay. It was a long day already of caching, driving caching, 12 hours plus.
Mhm.
And so we and Jesse look at each other. I'm like, we got to go. We got to beat this. If we don't beat the storm, we're going to be screwed. We're going to be driving for all day. So we go back to the hotel. I'll let Jesse tell the story, but we go back to the hotel, and now we've already checked into our room, Chad.
Mhm.
Already checked into our room.
Mhm.
So we go, and I tell the girl, this is gonna sound kind of funny, but we are going. We're from Chicago. We're here for the night, and we just went to dinner, and we saw this huge snowstorm. So we're just gonna go home. So can we have our money back? He said to her. And so Jesse finished the story because this is where Jesse comes into the story.
So, we promised her, like, we didn't touch anything in the room. We literally walked in, set our bags down, turned around, walked out, and went to dinner. And so she says, oh, I'm not sure. I'll have to talk to the manager tomorrow. I really don't know. I can't say one way, yes or no. And we said, okay, well, whatever. If we're out, $80, whatever. We're out $80. We're leaving. It's not worth risking this
Sure.
big storm.
Right.
So we get home. We make it home at like 3:00 in the morning. Get some sleep. The next morning, sure enough, here comes the storm. Like we made the right decision.
Oh, absolutely.
And
Yes.
And the manager from the hotel called me and said, hey, did you guys make it home okay? Is everything all right? And we said, yeah, we made it just in time. The storm's here today. So, and she says, okay, well, we checked your room. We were able to rent it to somebody else. So I went ahead and refunded your money.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
All the money.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
So yeah, it turns out we got a huge snowstorm. Totally beat it. Totally beat it. Meanwhile, Chad, I have to drive like an extra 5 miles. I think Jesse drove like 2 hours of it, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But like I was literally falling asleep. I like had to turn the ACM, which pissed Jesse off. Like it was November. But like I was the heat on in when you're driving for 15 hours, it's like, and the road, between the heat and the road, it's like lulling me to sleep, and so like I had to like turn the AC on, and Jesse's like all bundled up and pissed because
but we still had to stop for like 3 more caches on the way home that night that we had to get to finish the counties.
Yeah, we had to get them. Come on.
Those were the must-dos. We skipped the virtuals. Those we can go back for.
Yeah, we
anytime.
never got the virtuals, and of course now the virtual challenge came out, so now we need more.
The rewards. Now
that's the story of our trip down south, which our patrons know the story already because I've told that story on Patreon. I don't think we ever told it on.
I don't know. And there's some great videos of some of our adventures down in Southern Illinois. We had a great time.
Oh yeah, it's a 2-parter too. It's not even just one; it's 2 parts. Yeah. So that's the trip down south. It's a good story. Chad, what about you? Give me another one. Give me a best. You gave me a worst. Give me a best.
So it's more. So it's not really a road trip. So do you count going to Omega a road trip?
Does what now?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so I guess the best geocaching road trip
Did
What's
you
that?
drive there and then drive home?
We flew to Oklahoma and then drove down
Then
to.
yes, it definitely counts. If you had to cross state lines in a vehicle, counts as a road trip.
Okay.
Is that what constitutes a road trip?
Well, I've done a number of these where I've flown into someplace else to grab caches on the way to get to my end destination.
Right.
So I guess the best one had been this last Geo Woodstock. So with the number, and I've talked a lot about it, so I'm not going to go into details. But the number of high DT caches that we hit, the number of times that we had to use ladders and tots, so it was pretty high. People on our shoulders, tree climbing, gadget caches, 11 GeoArts. I think actually 12 GeoArts because we got the Oklahoma Star too. Hadn't counted that. For me, it was an unprecedented geocaching experience, and not saying all of them deserve the as high a DT ratings that they were given, but plenty of them definitely did. So there's a ton of virtuals, ton of puzzles, etc., and even a GPS maze cache.
Even a GPS maze cache. Lucky you.
Yep.
Wow.
So that one tops the list for me.
That one tops the list for you. Really? That one road trip tops the list, really? Of your favorite road trip?
I was debating that in Brazil. So, but I thought
still not your favorite.
It's they both are special.
Fair enough.
It's like kids,
Yeah, so I totally understand that. Yes. Here's one. Jesse's on the phone right now, so I'll tell mine. When we were in Kentucky on a road trip. I think we were going to Mingo, as a matter of fact. I think we were going to. And we were in Kentucky, and we were in a mall parking lot. I'm not sure if I ever told this story before. I apologize if I did. And there was a cemetery in the mall parking lot. So the cemetery had completely, but get this, it was completely surrounded by trees, like like the real condensed bushy trees, like kind of like bushes, but they're really tall. Like literally makes a wall. You put them together, it literally makes a wall. So it was a wall around the cemetery,
like oleanders.
Yes, yeah, there you go, exactly. And literally, it was like tree, and inside you walk through, and there was a cemetery in Chad. When I say in the parking lot, I mean legit, like right in the middle of the parking lot. There was this huge cemetery. That like these people wouldn't give up their land. They wouldn't give up. Well, they gave up their land, but they wouldn't give up their cemetery. And like they
Right.
literally just built it around it. They built it around the cemetery.
At least they obscured it, because if it wasn't obscured, then you'd have dumbass teenagers doing dumbass stuff.
Oh yes, absolutely. But like, I'm trying to remember. I actually looked for it today. I actually looked for the GC of it, and I can't remember. Anybody in the chat room who might know, or anybody even listening to my voice who knows, I'm almost positive. Jesse, do you remember this? Jesse, the mall cache I think it was Kentucky. The mall, where the cemetery in the mall parking lot. Jess, do you remember that?
I'm thinking. Yeah. I'm thinking.
I think
maybe.
Kentucky. I think we were in Kentucky. If anybody from Kentucky knows it, please send me the GC. I'd love to hear about it, because I couldn't find it I went back and I couldn't find it. So
yeah, the 10 counties in a day started out in a cemetery, and the cemetery was in the median of what's I-69 or 59 freeway, which is turns into I-69 in just north of Houston there. And my wife was yelling at me, don't pull off. and it's like, there's a cache here. There's a cemetery here. It's right. Like, people are allowed to pull off to go to the cemetery.
Sure, of course, it's a cemetery. Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, they literally split the freeway a bit wider around that one little area,
right,
to keep the cemetery there.
Right. Yeah. So like again, like it's just one of those things like that is extremely cool that I never ever would have saw if it wasn't for geocaching, and it was just happened to be on this road trip, So we've got a phone call though, Chad.
Okay.
Phone call. So Jesse, there's also a caller on the line too.
I see it.
Okay.
I got
So-
distracted.
No, of course you did. So let's bring this caller in. Come on in. Come on. Hello, caller. Hello, it's Cody Dog. Cody Dog, how you doing, sir?
Hello.
Hello. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well tonight. How are you guys?
I'm doing all right. So you got a story for me?
Well, it's our road trip. Well, it turned out to be a road trip. The one where we took to Niagara.
Okay, so this was actually a train trip. Me and Cody took a train trip to Niagara with two of our other caching friends. Oh God, how long ago was this, Cody? Probably about to be 8 years ago. That was a long time ago. God.
Well, it turned into a road trip because then G-Man Stan picked us up and we
Yes.
did a trail and such. So it wasn't necessarily just a train trip.
Yes, what we did is Cody and I and our two friends actually took a train to New York. The geocacher G-Man San picked us up, drove us into Canada, where we did a 100 cache power trail in Canada because we were right in Buffalo. We were right by we were up in Canada, and then after we did the power trail, came back to Buffalo and had an event and found some caches. Then literally got back on the train, boop, back to Chicago. We were there for about 12, 14 hours. That's about it. But Cody had an interesting time on that trip.
I got traveler sickness.
Yeah. Well, what does that entail there, Cody?
Yeah, it's number 2, but more exciting.
Yeah. So poor Cody. We get off the train and he's like, we got to find a bathroom.
I'm like, I need a bathroom. And then I thought we were going to be done. And I brought meds with me, but the meds were not taking care of it.
Yes. And we were in Canada. We were in Canada, by
We're
the
in
way.
line to go to Canada.
Yeah, right. We're in line to go to Canada.
I'm like, I am going to have an accident in the car going through customs. And luckily, no accidents happened. But I told everyone, I'm like, we have to stop at a Walmart or whatever. I need to get something that is going to fix this. I ended up we found a pharmacy somewhere.
Yes,
I think
remember.
it was Walmart.
Yeah.
And I ran up to the pharmacist and I'm like, I've taken this. I need something else. It's not helping. And they're like, where are you from? And I'm like, obviously the United States. And they're like, well, we have better drugs here. And they hooked me up with something in French. And I assume it was sort of Imodium or something. And I was good to go.
Something in French that gave him. It was Fuzzy Zuzu, the wee wee.
Yeah, I have no idea what it was. I can't even tell you what it
But it
what
worked.
it was. But
It
I'm
worked.
sure
Oh God.
It worked. You didn't poop the rest of the trip. You were good to go.
No, we did a power trail. We did that
power trail.
the Friendship Power Trail. Got that all done. It didn't have any accidents. There was no accidents.
No accidents.
There's nothing worse than that feeling when you're out caching in the middle of nowhere and
Dude, that's how I got poison ivy all over my body. Was because of that. Because you know what? When nature calls, I answer. And yeah, man, I got poison ivy down there everywhere. It was. Jesse remembers that well.
Oh, very well.
It was pretty bad. But yeah, so Cody, I remember this because Cody was miserable. I mean, like, imagine being on a road trip. Imagine. Here you go, guys. Imagine doing not a walking power trail, Chad. This wasn't a driving power trail. This was a walking trail, and you have. How did you describe it, Cody? Number 2 to the extreme. Is that what you did?
Yeah, number 2, an exciting number 2.
That's what it was. Exciting number 2, doing a walking trail in Canada. Yeah, yeah. So,
but that wasn't even the highlight. You forgot what happened at Niagara.
What happened at Niagara? Oh, what happened at Niagara?
Well, we were told. So we went with 2 of our other.
Oh
friends,
yes, we went with Craig and Carol. Yes.
To get a virtual.
Yes. Go ahead. You
can and we go and get this virtual, and we come back, and Craig, the male guy, was like, or the male friend was just like, yeah, we just got engaged. And we're like, what?
Yeah, we were like, "Bar? Like what? Like you got engaged? What?
Like-
Yeah,
We're like, when did that happen? We were just gone for like 5
we were
minutes.
literally
getting
gone for
that
5
first
minutes.
safe tender.
So I guess congratulations is in order, but hey, congratulations, yeah. And then we just moved on and kept caching. It was weird.
The weirdest trip.
Yeah, that was a fun trip, though. Good job. I forgot about the I forgot the exciting number 2. Yeah, yeah, good one. Yeah, poor Cody. I remember that now. Yes, you were pretty miserable.
I was miserable. And then we had to get back on the train and go back home.
Yes, I know. We were exhausted. Yes, I remember. All right, sir. Well, thank you so much for calling in, sir. I appreciate it. Always a pleasure to hear from Cody Dog. We thank you so much.
All right.
Talk soon.
Talk to you.
Bye.
Bye.
So we got another call here, Chad, bringing in. We have got another friend of the show. We've got Carrot Killer calling in. Carrot Killer, how you doing, sir?
What's going on, guys?
How you doing? So
Good,
tell me,
good,
do
good.
you have a
I'm
bad?
actually,
Go ahead. What?
yeah, I was going to say I'm actually in California right now on a work trip.
Oh, nice. Okay, so do you have a
Yeah.
Do you have a bad one like Cody, or do you have a good one? Story.
I have a good one, man.
All right, let's hear the good one. I love hearing good ones.
Yeah, so, I'm in the Army, so we get a 4-day weekend almost every month.
Uh-huh.
And whenever that happens, I'm usually looking for the cheapest plane tickets I can find. And wherever it's cheapest, that's where we'll go. So most recently, we got tickets from Austin to Denver for like $170
Nice.
combined for my wife and I both, 170 total.
Round trip?
And round trip, yeah.
Wow, that's nothing. That's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Frontier Airlines, super cheap.
Wow.
So
Did you have to help push the
We
plane
go to
to get
Denver.
it going?
what's that?
But did you have to help push the plane? Were you like the Flintstones, where you like your feet are all at the bottom and you're running and start going up?
No, but they do make you go to like a different part of the airport that is not the normal part, and you just walk upstairs to the plane from the outside.
They're like, dude, you need to go over there, away from the windows, over there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Away from the normal folk. Yeah.
Oh boy.
So go ahead, continue.
But anyhow, yeah, we get to Denver. So, obviously we get Colorado, and then from Denver, I think it's only like 2.5, 3 hours to Mingo. So we drove over there, took care of that.
Uh-huh.
And then we drove north up to Nebraska, and we ended up we had a rental car, we just pulled into a Cabela's parking lot, slept in the back of the car. Then first thing in the morning, we got an Earth Cache FTF in Nebraska. That was
Wow.
pretty sweet.
Nice.
Oh, sweet.
You wait,
Moved
hold,
on
wait,
from
hold,
there
wait,
to
hold on.
Wyoming.
You just totally slipped over. You slept in the car.
Who doesn't do that?
I don't do that. I don't
This is
sleep
a
in the car.
geocaching road trip after all.
I don't sleep in a car. I find cheap hotels. I don't sleep in a car. So you actually
We're like 50-50.
is this you and your wife actually slept in the car?
Yeah,
What
Lady
kind of-
Black Cat.
What kind of
Me and
car?
her.
What kind of car
Yep.
is it? You can't just drop that on me. What kind
It's a
of car?
Dodge. It was a Dodge Journey. You just fold down the seats and
Yeah.
you can sleep back there easy.
I don't know, man. Jesse, Jesse, do you think we could sleep in a car?
We could sleep in my car.
Your car, maybe. not
Sure. My car. Yeah, absolutely. Fold down the back seat. For sure.
mine. Okay.
Yeah,
All right, continue, sorry. Oh wait, Chad, what are you saying? Go ahead.
Yeah.
I
So we
would,
make our
Wait,
way
hold
from
on, wait, hold on.
Nebraska.
Garrett, hold on. Chad, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I would definitely sleep in the car, but my wife would kill me if I tried to suggest that she sleep in the car.
I don't think I could sleep in a car. I don't know. I've never done it before. I don't know if I could.
I've done it plenty of times.
Really?
You've never slept in a car?
I've never slept in a car. No.
I have slept in a car many
I'm
times.
one of those people
So-
like if I'm on a road trip or I'm on like even on a plane, I can't sleep. I won't sleep. I have to sleep laying down in my position that I sleep in, or I can't fall asleep. I'm just-
Now both my wife and my son will sleep while I'm driving the car,
well, yes, of
but
course.
pulling it over for the night and sleeping in the car, no way, they won't do it.
All right, Garrett, continue, sir. You're gonna go to Tennessee. Is that where you're headed? Sorry.
we went
No,
to Wyoming, man.
Wyoming. Wait,
We
so
went
you
to
went
Cheyenne,
from
Wyoming.
wait, so you went to
Wow.
well, I'm trying to figure out this road trip here. You went from you were in Mingo,
Denver
Denver
to Mingo,
to Mingo, and then to
up
Wyoming.
into Nebraska, and then driving west into Wyoming, into Cheyenne, Wyoming.
And how long? How many days?
And we got a webcam. How long?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Well, no, I'm saying
We drove from
how many days? How many days did you? How long was this trip?
Oh, the first day we drove from Denver to Mingo up to Nebraska, slept there somewhere. And then the next morning we were in Wyoming within like 3 hours, I'd say.
Right.
So yeah, we were in Wyoming early morning. We got a webcam, virtual, whatever. We got like several different cache types in Wyoming.
Uh-huh.
And then drove just south back into Colorado. And then we ended up at Rocky Mountain National Park that day.
Wow.
Spent the day there. And then we were back in Denver that night to leave in the morning.
Very nice.
But yeah, that was a fun road trip.
That's a pretty amazing road trip. Yeah, that's pretty quick too.
And super cheap with the, super cheap airfare.
Yeah, that trip.
I think it was
That trip
$100
was probably.
to rent a car for 2 days.
What was that trip? $700.
No hotel cost.
Yeah, what was that trip? Couple hundred bucks, maybe $500. That trip. Depends how much the car was.
Yeah, that's probably like airfare, rental car, food, probably $500.
Not too bad.
And we got 4 new states.
Wow. And I
Awesome.
never asked you. Do you have any kids? Have I asked you that?
I got 3 kids, man,
You got. How the hell you find?
but I only
They
have
must
them
be
in the
grown.
summer, so I have them right now.
Okay.
But,
okay. That makes okay.
For most of the year, they're not here. They're here
they're with
for
your
the
ex.
summer
They're
and
with your ex.
holidays.
Okay. See, that makes a lot more sense there.
So did you grab the Earth cache in Denver Airport?
I didn't. It was not in my terminal, and
That was not in your terminal.
didn't have
Nothing
time
was
for
in
that.
his. Nothing was in his terminal. Grass was in his terminal.
Yeah, I tried to get an Earth cache in every state, and I was like, "Well, we'll get one in Colorado. We don't need to worry about this one."
Well, dude, that's
Yeah.
dude, I am actually jealous of your road trips. You take fantastic. I tell you, one day, I promise you, me, your wife, and Jesse are going on a road trip. I promise you, it's gonna happen.
Let's do it, man.
I know my kids just have to get a little older, man. I got to get my kids a little older, but trust me, it'll
Yeah.
happen. It'll happen. I promise.
So where are you at in California right now?
Fort Irwin. I don't know if you know where that is. It's kind of like in the middle of the desert, probably about 2 hours from LA, 2 hours from Las Vegas.
Yeah, okay. So out like what's that, I-15 or north of I-15, but close to Baker. Between Baker and Barstow.
Maps today. I think we're a little bit more west than that, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Well, hey, Garrett, thanks so much, man. Your stories are always the best, so I love to hear your stories. So I appreciate you calling in.
I'm gonna spice it up with one last thing
All right,
before I go.
go ahead,
What they
absolutely.
say about Colorado is true, man.
What about
Everywhere we were going caching, especially in Boulder, there was people just like smoking weed on bike paths, on park benches. Like, this is insane, man.
It's a
They're
weird to
just
see.
smoking it out in the open like it's no big deal.
Well, it's legal there.
I know, it was an
Oh, man.
amazing thing. I'd never been in a legal state.
They were never like pulling bongs, were they? They just smoking with joints?
They're just smoking joints casually
Wow.
out in public.
Hey, man, God bless.
I've never seen such a thing.
To each his own, I say.
Yeah, it's legal here, and I've never seen it on the street. So
Yeah, supposedly, I think in January it's illegal in Illinois. I think
Yep.
they made it legal in Illinois. Yeah.
Mhm.
I saw that today on Reddit.
Yeah. Live and let live, man. I don't care. I don't smoke it, but God bless you if you do. More power to you. I don't care. So, Garrett,
Right
thanks. Thanks so much, man. I appreciate the call. Thank you so much.
Catch you guys next time.
Talk to you soon, buddy.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yep.
Hey, Chad, we got another caller here, sir.
awesome.
We've got Cleveland, Ohio on the line. We've got Tyrone Shoelace out of Cleveland. Tyrone, are you there, sir?
How you doing?
Hey, there he is. How you doing, sir?
Pretty good.
So you have got you have a good road trip or a bad road trip to share with us?
I really haven't had any bad road trips, but I had a pretty good one this past March.
All right, let's hear it.
Went to go visit a friend down in Charleston, South Carolina, and cached my way there, finished my Jasmer.
Awesome.
No,
The caches I needed were on Lake Lanier.
Uh-huh. Nice.
The first day of the trip, I knew I'd make it down into the Asheville, North Carolina area.
Uh-huh.
And then the second day, I went the long way from Asheville to Charleston by way of Lake Lanier.
Right.
Yeah.
And the adventurous part was on day one, there was a light rain, and being in Asheville, I wanted to visit Mount Mitchell, the highest point east of the Mississippi.
Mhm.
And halfway up the mountain, it started snowing.
Oh, no.
And when I was hiking on top of the mountain, that light snow turned into a blizzard.
Oh no,
Ooh.
that's dangerous, sir. Wow.
It was and it happened so quick.
Well,
I couldn't believe how quick it happened.
that's what they usually say. Is that that's what they say when they find the bodies? It happened so quick. We couldn't.
Yeah, yeah, no kidding. As I came back down the snowy road, which was clear on the way up, I actually passed the ranger, and he was happy to see me because they were about to come up and find me.
Really? And you were, I'm assuming you were alone, correct?
And yeah, this was a solo road trip.
Wow.
Wow.
And what caches did you do in
And
Charleston?
by the way, I drive a Subaru Outback, so
Oh,
I
there you
slept
go.
in my car too.
There you go.
Nice.
I'll play for that. There you go. Did you do caches in Charleston?
We did a bunch of virtuals in Charleston downtown.
Oh.
Walked around with my friend, and I did the virtuals and earth caches down there.
Oh. So
But what was really awesome was day 2 on Lake Lanier, because I had taken my kayak with me as well.
So
So,
you went out and got
Being
maroon.
in a snowstorm on Thursday to kayaking on Lake Lanier on Friday.
That's pretty amazing.
So you wound up getting marooned then, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, marooned was I needed that month, and I needed Lake Lanier, and that finished my Jasmer.
Yeah, Lake Lanier is the one that most people need. There's only 4 caches in the world that are on that month. I think is August of 2000, I believe.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. You're right. I didn't need Lake Lanier because I had already done Geocache 612 in Michigan. I needed the one the beavers went away. Is in the same area outside.
Okay. Yeah, I've done.
Now I have 2 Augusts.
Awesome.
Everybody now
Think
hates
about double Jasmer.
everybody hates you now, Shoelace, that you have 2. I heard a collective groan and shake of head from thousands of people.
I've got a friend that's got all 4 of the August.
Oh my god!
They went to
that'll never
Sweden. They went to Sweden and did a cruise around Sweden and got the cache that's in Sweden.
Wow.
Awesome.
So from Ohio to South Carolina, that's a beautiful trip. I mean, that's a beautiful drive.
Yeah, it took 5 days to do I got a whole bunch of new states. Tennessee, North and South Carolina, and Georgia were all new states for me.
Nice.
It was an awesome trip.
That's awesome.
Sweet.
Dude. That's amazing. And you killed the Jasmer. I mean, I'm still, I think, 4 or 5 away. I think, Jesse, aren't we both 4 or 5 away from that, I think?
Yeah, just 2000s are all we have left. I think 4 or 5. Yeah.
I got to go to the West Coast or down south to get the rest of those.
I just need January 2001.
Really? Oh, I got
Yeah.
one.
I've been down to that for a long time.
Oh. Well, hey, Tyrone, I appreciate it so much. Thank you for calling in. That's a great story. Nice job, sir. I'm happy you made it off the mountain. That's scary. Were you scared at all? I'd be terrified.
It was scary for a minute there. Yeah.
I mean, tell me somebody knew you were there. I hope somebody knew you were up there. Like your family members or somebody knew.
As I started hiking out the ridge, there was a group from Wisconsin who stopped and talked with me for a minute. They were on the way out. So they knew I was there, and they had talked to the rangers, and that's why the ranger was there waiting for me.
Yeah, I mean, that's really dangerous if you're up there by yourself, and like it just changes like
Did
that.
you have cell service?
Yeah, it seemed. I had cell service.
So at least you could give the coordinates to where you're to find your body.
Yeah.
Pick me up here, please. Well, hey, it's good to hear that you made it down the mountain. All right, that's fantastic. And the road trip, yeah, and it ended with you on a kayak, which is fantastic. That's awesome. So,
It was amazing.
Good job. Hey, thanks so much for calling, and we appreciate it very much. Thank you so much, sir. We'll talk to you next time.
Thanks, guys. Love the show.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon.
Yeah, I'm doing marooned in October.
Are you? Nice. Jesse Brown, one more. It's your turn. One more before we go. It's 9:28. One more. Give me one more good one from you.
So, I mean, we've talked about so many of our trips and most of those memorable experiences, like me almost getting killed in a forest preserve in the middle of the night in Tennessee. We've told that story, you know.
Yes, we have.
We've told the story about getting escorted out of town in West Virginia by 2 police officers.
Yes.
You know, all of those. So, while I was trying to remember all of these road trips that we've gone on, I keep going back to just like our quick short day trips with a group of friends, or even just an overnight trip that we've gone to. And it's always so much fun when you get this, you know, a big group of people. And one that's the most memorable was we went way out to Western Illinois, and Scott's driving. We got like 5 people in the car, and Scott decides that he's going to drive over a bridge that crosses over into Iowa, except the bridge is like a metal grate bridge that you can see straight down.
Yeah,
And I was just
Seriously?
freaking out.
Dude, it was a real bridge. It was
the majority of those that go over the Mississippi River are still great bridges that you can see through.
No,
was not having it.
no. So we had to drive out. We got our cache in Iowa, and then we had to drive back over it.
Yeah.
And I was not happy. But the good news is, a couple of years ago, that bridge actually got blown up. I will never have to go over it again.
Oh,
yay! On that note, thank you, Jesse Brown. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, you were not happy about that bridge. I remember that one.
I was happy when it got blown up.
I bet you were. So there you go, guys. Thank you, everyone who called in. Appreciate all your stories, your road trip stories. It's always good to hear some, because we all got a million stories, and especially road trip stories. So it's always good to hear about them. And they usually make good shows, so I appreciate it very much, guys. Next week, Chad.
Mm-hmm.
Next week is July.
Ooh,
can you believe it? It's July already.
Time to get hot.
Right, it's time to get hot. By the way, guys, if you go to our show notes, we have a ton more stories from all of us here that we didn't even talk about. Just so you know, if you want to laugh, you can take a look at our show notes.
I put links to a bunch of my logs. If you want a good laugh, go read my logs.
Oh, there you go. All right, thank you. Next week, Chad, begins July. Keeping with the summer theme months that we're doing, I guess we didn't do one for June. July is mega month, Chad.
Mm-hmm.
Mega month.
We got some megas coming up.
We got a ton of megas coming up. We're talking about them all month long. We're talking about them, Chad. We've got people from West Bend on the show. We got people from the Midwest Geobash on the phone. We got people from Going Caching going to be on the show in July. We're gonna have a mega survival guide, a whole show on how to survive a mega, things to look out for, things to do on this show coming in July. It's the mega month in July. But starting next week, the first week of July, it's just a July Cache or Coffee. That's all it is. Because I know we got a lot of things to talk about, a lot of things going on in the geocaching community with going on next year. We're going to talk all about it next week on the Cache or Coffee. So tune in next week for all of that. We're going to talk about everything that's going on, including baseball's ending. So I got to figure out how to fix this thing right here. This video, this Hangouts on Air. We're going to get this all straightened out and played around with again once baseball ends. Couple of weeks, guys. It's going to be over. Back to full-time Geocaching Podcast. Looking forward to it. So, Chad, always a pleasure, sir.
Same.
I will talk to you next week. Jesse Brown, beautiful as always.
Thank you, sir.
All right, guys, here we go. Please join us again next week as we take your calls live every Wednesday night at 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central, right here at the geocachingpodcast.com. The archived video versions of our podcasts are available on our website or on our YouTube channel, and the audio versions are available on most of your favorite podcatchers. If you like the show, please head on over to Apple iTunes and rate, review, and subscribe. We'd really appreciate it, and it really helps the show when you do. If you prefer to watch the show, please subscribe to the show on YouTube, and don't forget, once you subscribe, you click that little bell to get notified. It's right by the subscribe button. You subscribe, then you hit the bell. So you get notified whenever we go live. Be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter for updates on upcoming shows and just general geocaching information. And hey, if you haven't already, please consider becoming a patron of the show. With tiers starting as low as $3, you will get a ton of additional information, extra videos, extra audio, only available to our Patreon members. Please head on over to patreon.com and subscribe. That's patreon.com/The Geocaching Podcast. Thanks once again to our sponsors, Cashly, Logwork, FTF Geocacher Magazine, the Max Odds Body Company, and Practical Geocaching. Please visit our sponsors, and when you make a purchase, you tell them the GCPC sent you. That's all we got this week, so we'll see you next week, talking geocaching, taking your phone calls. In the meantime, be good, be safe, hug your loved ones, and we'll talk to you guys next week. We are clear. The audio took. How about that? All right, guys. So, guys, mega July coming up next month. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be a good month. If you're a fan of megas, you're going to love this show next month because we're going to be talking all megas. And me and Jesse are trying to go to Midwest. We're going to West Bend. We're trying to go to Geocache. I want to go to Going Caching, and Jesse's telling me we can't go.
I'm going to Going Caching.
I want to go to Going Caching. Maybe I'll go without Jesse.
No.
Maybe I'll do that.
One of these days, I'll get up to. I want to do West Bend and Moga.
Yeah, West Bend's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. It really is. Yeah. All right, guys. So everybody, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk to you guys next week. Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.